Hi friends, welcome to Cricket Caveat. This is a movie review today. We're talking about the movie 800, which is based on life of Muthaiya Muralitharan, one of my favorite cricketers growing up. Magician with the ball, best spinner in the world ahead of Shane Warne and Anil Kumble, according to me. And he has given a lot of tough times to Indians while he was in his playing career. But what a guy on and off the field, and always carries that smile. So I think this movie was which was directed by M.S. Sripati, was an excellent movie covering his life, and anyone in anyone can relate with it, especially people from Asia, people from a small city who trying to make it big, can relate very well with this movie. And Madhur Mittal, who has played the role of Muthaiya Muralidharan, has done exceedingly well. I mean, it is so difficult to try to copy Muralidharan's action, and try to bowl off spin with that action. That itself is a genius thing from him. And the way he played the role of Muralidharan in all of the different aspects of his life was also some genius acting and very good writing and direction. So the movie starts with showing like how his family, who were immigrants to Sri Lanka. They came from Tamil Nadu. Like how they grew up, how he grew up and faced difficulty in a Sinhalese majority community. And they showed a very strong character of his grandmother, like who made sure like Muralidharan is able to play with other kids. Muralidharan gets all his things done. Like she was a great grandmother, and her character was very strong in the movie. So, and also the second aspect was that because Muralidharan was not from some big city like Colombo, being from Kandy, it was another challenge that was shown in the movie, like to make it big. A similar challenge was shown in the movie MS Dhoni as well. How MS Dhoni took so much time to come to the Indian cricket team just because he was not from Delhi or Mumbai. So we saw that similarity between these two movies. I would still say that the cricketing movies that I've watched, this is like one of the finest, and might be a little bit slow, not so much action, but if you are watching with the heart, like it will really touch you, this movie. So another thing that we saw in this movie was like the different characters, and Arjuna Ranatunga. I actually a lot of millennials will love to see this movie because we have seen that growth of Sri Lanka in that time period from early 90s to later becoming one of the strongest teams, winning the World Cup. So, but I like unfortunately don't remember much seeing him play. But in this movie, I found out that what an amazing leader he was. The way he stood, way he groomed Muralidharan, way he stood for him in his tough times. So that was another great example in this movie. There is also something for Indian fans in this movie. Like they showed a clip where Kapil Dev actually reaches his record of 436 Test wickets, getting ahead of the West Indian bowler. So that was a very good fan moment for like maybe Indian people, and they did a decent job with the VFX too. One of the interesting things happens in the movie is Muralidharan sees Kapil Dev at the airport after that match, and he gathers some courage and decides to have a word with him. So Murali is still new in the cricketing world at this point. So he goes to Kapil Dev and he asks him for some tips and he asks him his feedback about his bowling. And Kapil, being a Punjabi guy, is like very chilled out, and he says, Murli, like, why should I give you tips? You'll get my guys out in the next series. And Murli thinks he was being serious, so he just like put down his face like such an innocent character. And then Kapil says, like, I'm just joking. I think if I can give you one tip is like, you spin the ball very well, but you should do some variations like Anil Kumble does. And he says like you should vary your pace, you should vary your length, and that was very good advice from Kapil Dev that was shown in the movie, and very good camaraderie was shown between Indian team and Sri Lankan team. There was also a lot of some funny moments were shown when Muralidharan was first picked for an early tour in 1991 to go to England, but he unfortunately could not get a game. He played in the practice match then, and after that tour, they were like discouraging Muralidharan. They were saying that you have made it till here, and you should just thank God for it. Maybe it's not in your destiny to play Test cricket for Sri Lanka. And this was very interesting because Muralidharan got so discouraged, he actually was applying for food and nutrition science course and to go to Malaysia and study there. But Then someone from his school or college comes by, sees him in the post office, and then says that, I've seen you play. You play so well. I'll be definitely coming to see you in your next match. And then Murli decides that, oh, okay, he does not pose that envelope to the Nutrition Science University. He decides that he will continue to play cricket, and then he goes to Colombo to further improve his game and try his luck. There he meets one senior, who tries to pull his leg and give him some hard time by making him run around the ground and do fielding. But Muralitharan, he still does his job. He's a workhorse. I mean, you cannot become world's greatest bowler, picks all those wickets just because of sheer talent. You hard work has to go along with it, and that's what Muralitharan shows. And eventually, he impresses that senior with his bowling. And then that senior also did some funny gesture, like Muralitharan was going out in a club, but he did not have shoes. He was wearing sandals. And this guy saw him there and he's like, hey, I'll loan you my shoes. You go have party, you have fun. So then Muralitharan was new to Colombo. He wanted to try some city life, and then this guy actually helped him. Now, finally, when Muralitharan at Sri Lanka is playing Australia at home. Now, how Muralitharan came back to eventually to their test matches. And Sri Lanka were about to win this first test match, and Muralitharan was not playing in this one, but they actually end up losing it. And Shane Warne came into the spotlight. It was his first series, and he took 7 wickets in that second innings, where Sri Lanka were looked comfortable to chase it, but they couldn't. And at that time, Arjuna was like, "We need one spinner, one proper spinner in our team. How can the guy coming from Australia taking 7 wickets and our guys are not bowling spin like that?" And that's when he decided to remember his one guy in the domestic circuit. He's like calls him, and he's like, and then he gives Murli a chance, and and then Murli immediately starts showing his impact from his first match itself. And the movie, another interesting part about the movie, which I forgot to mention till now, is that they're showing movie from the 2010, and that's the present day when Muralitharan is playing his last Test match, and he needs 8 wickets to reach the 800 mark. So, guys, if you remember, Muralitharan took that landmark against India. So this was a 3-match Test series, and Muralitharan said before the series that he's not going to play all the matches. He's just going to retire after the first Test. And so everyone was like, "Man, you should go for all the 3 matches, get a good chance to pick those 8 wickets." But he was like, "No. Then what will be the thrill in that? Being a champion like that, he decided that he will go retire on a high. So if he can get 8 wickets in a match, it's fine. Otherwise, he doesn't mind being stranded on 798, 799, or anything." That again shows what a legend Muralitharan was and how he loved challenges even till his last Test match. And so this movie was continuously in the flashback. Like they will show a little bit of glimpse of day one of that Test match in his last Test match, and then they will show his life story again going in the 90s, 2000s. So it was a very good concept by the director again, giving viewers more thrill, like how the story was shaping up. And then they also showed in this movie like how Muralitharan was such a kind person. Like he wanted to do so much for the community. And again, they showed some harsh things about our Asian communities. What happens is like how difficult it is to be a minority in some places. And so, for example, in the 90s, Murli was the only Tamil person playing in the team. So he had to go through some share of his hard luck. But then, because of such a good leader in Arjuna Rantunga, he was always well supported once he was established. Another sad thing I want to mention is about the Australians, how they tortured Murli for calling him for chucking. And there were 3 umpires, uh, Emerson, Daryl Hare, and McQuillan. So these 3 guys unnecessarily troubled Murli throughout his career. So even when Murli made it out, he started playing Test cricket. Australians didn't spare him and always try to falsely allege him into like he's not bowling proper bowling. And I'm 100% sure that Murli wasn't checking, because it has been proven by multiple universities and ICC that he never checked. Also, I had a coworker who was from Australia here, and he actually said to me, in the 90s, mate, our Australian team, we were just jealous of Muralitharan because we had Shane Warne. So we in our country, in the back of our minds, we knew we are just trying to put Murli into this so that he doesn't get ahead of Warne. And he was like kind of guilty, like we always used to put him in trouble. And the movie showed this very nicely. Like it didn't happen once, it actually happened almost 3 times in his career. So once Murli was new, his first tour to Australia, These two umpires called him for chucking, and unfortunately, he had to go out. He couldn't play. And then some Australians came up to Sri Lankan's dressing room, and they were like probably PhD students or someone. They told they convinced the Sri Lankan team like hey, not everyone hates Murli in Australia, so we want to help him out. Why don't you send him to the university? We will check his bowling action and we will approve him if he's right. And so they did. So Murli was cleared by them and ICC both. But again, second tour, and now Murli had already picked 200 test wickets. This is 1998 tour, and Murli is there in Australia, and he's bowling really well. And it's a triangular series between England, Australia, and Sri Lanka. This is the first match Sri Lanka and England are playing, and the match is going on. Murli comes to bowl, and to everyone's surprise, Empire Emerson does it again. He was there the first time when this happened. He still did it, but this time the Arjuna Rantanga did not take it. He did not take it a single bit, and he showed his amazing leadership. He was just like, "Fuck off, Empire. We are walking out the field if Murali is not bowling," and he was very clear about it. Actually, Empire was just like thinking that maybe captain will get him out of the attack, and he will be able to dictate his terms. But Arjuna walked out, and he very even though he was strict with the umpire, he was very polite with the English players. He told them like, "Hey, we are walking out because this happened," and then they just walked out. After 12 minutes, people tried to convince Ramtunga to not do that. Please come back, and then he eventually had to decide to come back. And then Murli was told to only bowl leg spin, and Empire was like, "Yeah, if he bowls leg spin, I'm not going to call him for checking. I just don't agree with his bowling action for the off spin," which was again bullshit. Like Muralitharan is the magician, is the greatest bowler. These guys were just jealous fucks to do that to him. But karma is such a great thing. In this match, it's so ironic that this match actually England posted up a good score. Murli could not pick a wicket because he didn't practice his leg spin. He was not happy for 7 overs, 46 for no loss. But in the end, the match gets really close. And what's funny is number 11, Murli had to come to bat, and he hits the winning runs with his own bat to finish this match. So what an ironic, and Muralitharan being a legend, he finished the game, and that's what I miss in this current generation. Like bowlers are not able to do batters' job, batters are not able to do bowlers' job. But in our time, the greatest Wasim Akram, the great Muralitharan, they would bat when it's needed for their team. They would give their absolute best, and that's what sometimes missing, and that's definitely missing in current Sri Lanka's team as well. Anyways, yeah, so that was my favorite part of the movie, the way Rana Tunga handled the situation, the way he told his side like, we're not going to take this bullshit again, let's walk out together. So he it was shown such good leadership. But Murli's struggle never ended, and that's what you show. Like even in life you become so big, but it doesn't guarantee that your hard days are gone. So that's why every day is a new day, every day is a new challenge, and we have to learn from Muthaiya Muralidharan how to always be brave, how to be ready to face challenges, how to learn throughout, because learning is for lifetime. And again, this Dusra is an excellent example. The way he continuously used to do something different with his cricket. That's why he was the world's most lethal spinner. And we have never seen a guy like him. I actually remember a match in my childhood. It was a final in Sharjah. It was called Coca-Cola Cup in 2000. And I was surprised. Like Sri Lanka scored 299 and India got bowled out for 54. And it was Muralitharan who did that cleaning up job. So he was an absolute legend. Like we have not seen. Oh, okay. And in the movie, they also shows the game where he picked 16 wickets in England, and that was an unbelievable spell. And again, credit to Mittal. He did such a good job playing Muthaiya Muralidharan, and he actually they showed that part of the game for the cricket nerds like me. That yeah, you definitely should watch this movie for those parts where the cricket is shown. One thing I have to complain is that from the movie they did not show how good a fielder Muralidharan was. So they did not show much about his fielding. Also, the guy who played Muralidharan was fantastic, but he never smiled much. And Muralidharan used to smile a lot in the field. Like he used to always have that smile. But this guy was very serious in the movie. And last feedback is like they didn't show the 1996 World Cup enough in the movie. And they just showed the winning shot in the finals. They beat Australia. They take their revenge against them. But I was hoping to see more of 1996 World Cup in this movie, but they didn't show that. But everything else was pretty great. The way they showed his early life in the village, coming from Kandy to Colombo, going and playing in England and Australia. Those parts were fantastic. And then the movie. climax comes. So they show the last day of this test match where India actually lost. It was losing the match, but Muralitharan still needed one more wicket, and Sri Lanka needed three wickets to win. And then the next two wickets are taken by Malinga, and then there was a run out. So everyone was like, "Oh man, Murli is gonna be left on 799," and I think Ishan Sharma was defending very well. But because Muralitharan is such a nice guy, he has always done good things in his life. God rewards him, and he was able to generate an outside edge, and he gets his 800th wicket, and that's where the movie ends. Like in the climax, they were just showing how Muralitharan, makes a bet to himself, like he'll take eight wickets in that match, and he eventually does it. So, guys, if you have time, if you have like 2.5 hours, you definitely watch this movie. If you don't have this movie, I'm here to told you the story. So, let me know if you have watched the movie. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what part did you like about this movie, and what other cricketing movie you would suggest to me. So, thank you a lot, guys. Please subscribe to Cricket Caviar, and have a good day.